G'day whisky lovers, welcome to the Hard Malt channel. My name's Tim and today must be Deanston Day, because today I'm reviewing Deanston 12-year-old. They're one of their core range releases, and I have reviewed a couple of older Deanstons on the channel, namely the 18-year-old and the 20-year-old organic, but that's not to say that some of the younger core range stuff isn't just as equal quality. And in this case, I know it to be true. So firstly, what we've got here is bottled at 46.3%. Deanston 12-year-old, non-chill filtered, natural colour, and aged in ex-bourbon casks for 12 years. So ex-bourbon casks, we know we're going to be expecting a typical sort of vanilla, honey, that kind of flavour profile. So let's get some of this into my glass here. And for those of you that are not aware, Deanston are a sister distillery to Bunnahabhain and Tobermory, who also bottle their peated range called Lachag. And they typically all bottle their core range at 46.3%. So it's the common denominator amongst those sister distilleries. So this being 12 years old, we don't really need to let it sit too long in the glass before we have a bit of a look at what we've got. I will note that this bottle I picked up last year in 2025. I think it was probably mid-2025. Just for reference, single malt whiskey being a batch-made product, this one in particular is one of those examples of why you can celebrate single malt whiskey being a batch-made product. Because I find this one, I do recall my previous purchases of Deanston 12 to being a little bit lighter in colour than this one. Now we know this is natural colour, it says it right here. So number one, this is a little bit darker. That tells me you've got a little bit of extra activity happening from the cask. So you're getting a little bit more colour, perhaps a little bit more flavour as well. And the other thing I notice straight away on the nose is this particular batch. I describe it as being a little bit more oaky than previous batches of Deanston 12 that I've had. Now normally I don't like a particularly oaky whiskey. By that I mean those sort of woody, spicy, hard to describe oaky sort of notes. I normally don't go for that kind of thing because I'm not much of a wine drinker, and that oaky sort of note doesn't really strike my palate the best. Hence, I don't tend to go for virgin oak type whiskies, that's where the whiskey has been aged in an oak barrel that has not had any other liquid in it before. Whereas typically, in Scotch at least, they're going to be using, more often than not, ex-bourbon barrels, unless they're going for the sherried style, in which they'll use ex-sherry barrels. Sometimes they'll use a mixture of both. It's actually, in terms of sherried whiskey, you could argue that it's more common that they will age whiskey primarily in ex-bourbon and then finish them in ex-sherry barrels. But there are plenty out there that have their full maturation in ex-sherry barrels. That aside, we're just talking ex-bourbon barrels here. But straight away I get that oak spice. Think of baking spices, cinnamon, ginger, clove, as well as some sort of honey, thick sort of honey. And this, the oakiness I'm getting from this, I actually quite like. And that's telling me that it's some very good quality oak barrels that they've used. Not just any that they could get their hands on. So it's so pleasant on the nose. I love all that honey. There's vanilla in there, dare I say it. And those spices are just tantalising. Already on the nose, I can say it's, for a 12-year-old single malt Scotch, it's altogether a lot more complex than some other 12-year-old Scotches out there. Let's see how it goes on the palate. Definitely more of that oak spice, baking spices coming through on the palate. Ginger and clove. You got the typical citrus that you get from Deanston as well. Quite warming on the way down. Not to say that it's jagged or anything like that. It's far from that. It's just this is a whiskey that you could either drink with some whiskey rocks perhaps in the middle of summer, or you could just as happily sit by the fireplace in winter and sip this one. It's got that duality about it, if you like. Really, it's still so pleasant on the nose with those spices, those hints of oakiness. It's oily, slightly oily on the palate. I will also say this is not quite as waxy as previous batches of the 12-year-old Deanston. Deanston 12 is typically known for being having a waxy character about it. But this one I find slightly less waxy. Perhaps that can be attributed to the extra oakiness that I'm getting on this one. But also getting some other fruits, hints of apricots. The finish is just giving me some more of those spices. I'd say more so hints of ginger and clove is mostly what's coming through. Hints of citrus and hints of, I think, apricots is what I'm going to go with. Apricots and peaches. Yeah, altogether, it's a really delicious dram. It's an easy pour. It's reasonably approachable as well. So people that are still relatively new on their Scotch journey, they could happily give this one a go and see what they think of it. But for me, I really rate this. It says a lot that this is my third review of a Deanston bottling on the channel. And to date, all three have been official bottlings. So well done, Deanston. You're doing something right. I can't wait to be reviewing some more. But as far as this one goes, I'm going to give it an 83 out of 100. So that's not, it's above my base level mark that I've been giving so far this year. And I think it's well deserved. It's really good quality. As I said, I feel from the smell and the taste, I feel that there's really good quality ex-bourbon barrels being used here, and to full effect. It's really done well. I can't pick anything wrong with it. So there you go. Deanston 12-year-old. As I said, I believe I picked this up in 2025 for reference. 83 out of 100. There you have it. We'll see you in the next video, guys. But just before I go, I haven't mentioned this so far on this channel, but I do have in my description a little PayPal donation link. I'm not at the stage on my channel at the moment that I can get anything from YouTube. So if anybody feels generous enough to help out the channel, please use the link. Please give us a like as well, and subscribe if you're looking for more videos, more Deanston reviews, more whiskey reviews in general, and whiskey chatter. But until then, folks, enjoy your drams, and I'll see you in the next one. Slán Drabá.